A U.S. Supreme Court ruling on pork sales in California will have impacts here in Iowa. The ruling upheld a California law that says all pork sold in the state be born from mothers given a certain amount of space, basically eliminating the use of something called a gestation crate. For many producers, that's a huge change. But Local 5's Larissa Leone spoke with an Iowa pork farmer who's been giving his pig space before this new ruling.
Well, here we are in the open pasture where local pork farmer Paul Willis says it's the perfect way to raise free-range pigs, the Niman way.
I had pigs on about 7 different locations. I mean, I raised about 3,000 pigs a year.
3,000 a year.
Paul Willis says he's been a successful pork producer since the 80s. Although he's retired now, he says back then he took a different approach compared to industry standards when raising his pigs.
We didn't want to be like the industrial model. I wanted to distance myself in every way. So I started working with the Animal Welfare Institute. We wrote the standards for how animals were raised.
With his devotion to the treatment of his animals, Willis began following practices to ensure their well-being. Standards that are now mandated by California's Proposition 12 laws.
Like no gestation stalls, no farrowing crates, and that's been our standards. And then, we're using bedding and outdoors and so on. So those have been our standards since 1995.
Not all farmers see Prop 12 as the right way to ensure a pig's well-being. President of Iowa Pork Producers Association, Trish Cook, says her initial reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling was disappointment.
What's frustrating is what the Proposition 12 guidelines and rules were set out in a way that weren't based upon science. They're using arbitrary guidelines.
Cook says the ruling will hurt pork producers' bottom line in an already challenging economy.
With, like I said, inflationary times, things are expensive, and the market has not given us enough increase in price to offset our expenses. So all the hogs that we're delivering to the packer right now, we're losing money.
Willis says farmers worried about the additional cost have options.
They don't have to do this. They just can't sell pork to California.
Now Willis says that farmers still have the right to choose how they raise their pigs, but he says Prop 12 is the way of the future. In Thornton, Larissa Leone, Local 5 News.
And the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling will continue to impact pork production here in Iowa and potentially costs for you. So use your phone to scan the QR code here to know about any changes. Be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an update.